Hello. So I've been stuck also again a little bit in this step. The instruction says for this algorithm you'll want to use a while loop. This loop needs two conditions. First, it should not run beyond the beginning of the array accessed with j. Second, the loop should not run after it finds a value smaller than the current value. And to prevent an infinite loop, decrement j inside your loop. So that's it. But first, we have to understand the current code. So we have declared an arrow function named insertion sort, and here there's an arrow function with array as the parameter, and it has a callback function inside here. And inside our callback function, we have a for loop, and in our for loop, we have uh, three control loop expressions, which is the initialization, the condition, and the update. So we initialized I, that I starts the counting from 1, and then the condition as I is less than the length of the array, and then I updates and increments by 1. And inside our for loop, we have declared a variable named current value assigned to the index value of I in an array called array. Okay, and then there's a let variable j assigned to the to I minus 1, and then we now start here. So inside our for loop, we have to make a while loop. So this is in the form of nesting loops. So a while loop inside the for loop, nested within the for loop. And the for loop, the first condition says it should not run beyond the beginning of the array accessed with j. So we have to access j. So j, and we know that the beginning, in the context of array, the beginning of the array starts always from 0. So we can do that with the code j is greater or equal to 0. So rather we start 1 rather than 0. So if we start 1 not 0, why cannot we just do the code j greater than 0? Well, in JavaScript does not allow negative indices. So j greater or equal to 0, this ensures the loop and avoids accessing negative indices. So there it is. And moving on to the second condition. So we have to consider both of them. And if we consider both of them to be true, we use AND operator, because AND operator represents like this. There it is. So AND operator, if A is true and B is true, then AB is true. That's it. So the second condition says the loop should not run after it finds a value smaller than the current value. So earlier we have declared a variable called the current value assigned to the index value of I in array called array. There it is. So we just have to access j. We just have to access the value of j. I mean, so we can do that code by yes, doing this, and greater than the current value. Don't forget curly brackets, and then it says here we can read this as the index value of j in array called array is greater than the current value, which is assigned to the index value of I inside an array called array. Or we can read this as the current value is less than the index value of j inside an array called array. So this implies that the loop should continue as long as it has not found a value smaller than the current value, and we have our second value. And then you don't have to forget this one. To prevent an infinite loop, decrement j inside your loop. So if incrementation is done by plus plus, then we decrement j by minus minus. And we are done.